to Emily Knight from Newton Falls. Emily, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today.
Thank you for having me.
Emily, let's first and foremost just talk about the experience this season that you've had. I mean, we know rain's kind of been an adversity for some teams too. How has that been played into this season for you?
Definitely in the beginning, it was pretty rough, like every game getting canceled. So it was kind of a slow start, but recently with the weather being nice, we've kind of kicked it off pretty well, and especially leading into tournaments, I think we're at a pretty good point now with playing like consistently and getting a lot of games in.
Now, this team feels like it's so under the radar. You're coming into the tournaments. I think you have 4 losses on the season. Have you kind of felt like there's a chip on this program's shoulder to prove themselves, especially in the league that you play in?
I think for sure. I think with like rankings coming out recently, I think we're a lot lower from ranks lower from other teams than we kind of expected. But I wouldn't say that's a bad thing. It's just we can go out and prove ourselves and show what the team we are.
How do you use that as a chip on your shoulder going forward, knowing now that the next loss puts you out of the tournament?
I think it just makes us like we've been working hard all season. We know what we're supposed to do, and we even in the regular season we know what we have to do. We work hard, and it's nothing new for us. So
Got to take you back to the game where you beat Champion. I mean, how did that kind of feel? Everyone's been chasing Champion for so long in this MVAC, and you guys knocked them off 5-0. I mean, that had to be like the high moment of the season.
oh my gosh, it was for sure. I think that was our first win against Champions since 2013, I want to say. So it definitely felt good. It was the first win against Champion that I've obviously ever experienced. And to win 5-0, it just felt great.
Who would you say is the goofiest teammate on the team? The one that can just make you smile at any given time?
I would say my friend Olivia. She plays left field for us.
Now that we're kind of getting into it, and Olivia is the goofy one. Describe the personality of this team and what it's like being on it, and some of the personalities that shine through during the season.
It's definitely a great team to be on. Everybody on our team gets along so well, and especially like most of us have played other sports like basketball or volleyball together. So we just have great personalities. We all bond together, and it just makes it easier to play with everybody, knowing that they have your back and you have theirs. It makes it a lot easier.
What's this community support like throughout the season? Because it seems like no matter what, there's always a strong following for Newton Falls athletics. Anything.
Yes, it is so nice. Every game we have all these cars parked in the outfield. Like everybody, my whole family is there every game. It just makes it so nice, and seeing them, especially when we beat Champion, just having so many people, and with it being senior night, there was a huge crowd there, and it was just a perfect game.
You got some love in the comments section from Carla Blankenfort that says, "You queen."
Oh.
When you look at you reflect on your career, and not just with the softball team, but at Newton Falls and going into the school system, what are some of the biggest ways that you've grown and improved from freshman year to now?
In some ways I've grown and improved. I definitely, my mindset in the game, I think I'm a lot less nervous or anxious on the field now that I'm a senior. Definitely, got better with that. And just going out and playing and just not thinking so much about it has really helped me.
What's some advice you would offer to some underclassmen or some players coming up into the program about playing for Newton Falls and representing the Tigers?
I would tell them that it flies by, and really, like, it flies by to take every moment in and don't take advantage of any opportunity, and play every game like it's your last.
That's the advice that you give. Who are some underclassmen that you have kind of taken under your wing and mentored a little bit, and you're taking pride in their success as they go forward in their journey?
I would say definitely a sophomore on our team, Chloe Butler. We both play shortstop. I'm playing second now. She's playing short, but my freshman and sophomore year I did. And so definitely like teaching her some different techniques that I learned throughout the years from other upperclassmen. And I just feel that we kind of play the same. So we get along pretty good.
Taking it back to your freshman year, what were some players or what was some impactful things that some of those seniors said to you or told you that made you the leader you are?
Definitely, one of my friends, she texted me after we lost in our tournament game freshman year. She told me what I just said, kind of like it flies by, like, and I first, like, when I was in my freshman year, I was like, oh, I'm sure she's just like joking, but it really does. And just play every game like it's your last. I think that's pretty much some advice that I think is really helpful.
You're a multiple sport athlete at Newton Falls. Talk to me about what it was like to transition mentally from one sport to the next.
I played volleyball, so I think a lot of people weren't expecting us in volleyball to be as successful as we were. So I think just we've had the same mindset. The mindset being that in every game we just need to play hard and we need to prove ourselves to some people. So I think it's definitely the same with softball too.
Going into softball, was it a different feeling for you now knowing that this is going to be the last sports season that you're going to be able to participate in at Newton Falls?
Yes, for sure. Especially with softball. I've been playing softball for like 13 years, I want to say. So it's definitely going to be rough when the time comes. But I think, yeah, I've been playing all my life, and it's going to be weird when I finally have to say goodbye.
All right, it is time for the rapid fire portion of your interview, and we're going to try to get to know you a little bit off the field and off the court when it's volleyball season, of course. Are you ready for this?
Yes.
All right.
I don't know.
Cats or dogs?
Dogs, for sure.
What is the weirdest thing that your pet does?
I don't know. She eats everything and anything.
Morning or night? Are you a morning person or a late bird?
Definitely a late bird.
So I'm going to say sunrise or sunset, and I think I know the answer to that one.
All the way.
Salty or sweet?
Sweet.
What is your guilty pleasure dessert?
Ooh, I don't know. Definitely, I would say cheesecake.
What is the one thing that you spend a lot of money on that you probably shouldn't?
Makeup, for sure.
What was your last impulse buy?
I spent a lot of money on these shoes. That's my last impulse buy.
Okay, if you could pick one, would you rather achieve your dream job or win the lottery?
Win the lottery.
All right, so I'll go with this. If you win the lottery, you'll obviously be able to afford any kind of car. What car would you want to buy?
Ooh. Probably Mercedes. The best, newest kind.
A night out or a night in?
Night in.
What was the last Netflix series that you binge watched?
Ooh. I would say, I'm trying to think. Probably The Vampire Diaries.
What fictional death hit you the hardest?
Fictional death. I'm trying to think. Probably Elena dying in The Vampire Diaries.
All right. What is going to be your major next year at Ohio?
Nursing.
What is the career that you want to get into after you finish your nursing degree?
I want to be a nurse anesthetist. My dad is too. So seeing him do his job, it just made me so much more inspired to be a nurse.
Who's your favorite superhero?
Oof. Probably like in the movies.
Yeah, or comics or whatever.
Okay.
Cartoons.
I'll just say Captain America.
Who is your real life hero?
My mom.
Are you someone that learns more by watching or by listening?
Watching, for sure.
What's the best restaurant for an after game meal?
Ooh, I would say B-Dubs.
All right, if we were gonna take you to karaoke night, what would be your go-to karaoke song?
Levitating by Dua Lipa.
What would your walk-up song be if you had one?
Ooh, that's a tough one. Um, In the Club by 50 Cent.
Oh, this is a good one that I haven't asked before. What is one thing that's not a big deal or to most people, but you find irritating?
When people chew with their mouth open.
Ooh, that's a pet peeve for sure.
Yes. Me.
What are the most likely 3 words someone would use to describe you?
Outgoing, funny, and hardworking.
All right. Before we let you go, I'll give you one more. Are you good at public speaking?
Depends. If it's a big group of people, I would say no. But if it's a decent sized amount of people, I would say yes.
All right, Emily, I want to give you the chance to thank your support system, the people that are always there for you, and the people that you probably wouldn't be where you are in your journey without.
I would like to thank my family, specifically my mom, my dad, my grandparents. They've come to every single game of mine these last 13 years. And I would like to thank my dog for always being there as well. And yeah, it's just both my siblings are in sports too, so they juggle a lot and they still make time for everybody. So I would really like to thank them for all they do for me and what they've taught me throughout the years, especially with sports. And yeah.
Emily, thank you so much for joining us today on the show. We appreciate the time. We look forward to continuing your coverage of your softball season. We hope it goes as long as it possibly can.
Me
And
too.
we will talk to you again real soon.
All right, thank you for having me.